and welcome to your weekly dose of love, support, and inspiration from the Soul Support Center. And today we're going to talk about 6 ways to attune to your inner guidance and intuition. And this is such an important topic, and I've had a lot of people ask me, how can I tell the difference between what is my guidance and what is me? And how does one live in the flow of their intuition? And I'm not an expert on very many things spiritually. I mean, as I've said in my introductory video on our homepage, that I'm a fellow traveler and I'm not coming to you as an expert. But one thing that I am really, really good at is living from my intuition and following my guidance. And the reason for this is because in the past, when I have not done so, I have ended up with total tragedy and crisis in my life. And back in 1996, I had one of the worst tragedies of my life, and I decided then and there that I would never, ever not follow my intuition. No matter what it says to do, I will do so at all costs. So over the years, I've really developed an ability to tune into my guidance and intuition on a moment-to-moment basis, not just occasionally. I mean, I live in this flow. I live my life from that place. So today I'm going to give you 6 ways to attune to your inner guidance and follow your intuition. Our guidance and intuition is something that is absolutely natural to you. It's not something that you have to work towards, and it's not something that you have to develop within yourself. It's already there, but you do need to develop the ability to be aware of it. So the first way that you can tune into your guidance and your intuition is by learning to pay attention to your feelings. It's all about feeling. And I live from a place where I only follow my energy and the joy. Whatever it is, whatever situation you need guidance on, if you're trying to make a decision, the easiest, best way to do it is just to sit still, go within, and feel what feels right. You'll get a feeling. If it feels heavy and thick or scary, this kind of locked up scary, you know that it's not the right thing for you. It's really that simple. And if it feels joyful and life-affirming or happy to do, and it feels light and fun, that is the voice of the soul. That is the voice of your guidance and your intuition. Now, one thing with our intuition that I learned from that tragedy I had is that we have a built-in protection mechanism, which is called our intuition. That's one of the functions of it. Our intuition always shows us the red flags, and it's always there. It's just that we so oftentimes don't want to hear what it has to say. It's not that we have trouble accessing our guidance and our intuition. It's that so many times we just don't want to hear what it has to say. And so we ignore it. And so just know that your intuition is one of your built-in protection mechanisms, and you'll never, if you follow it, you will never have to worry about being hurt or having a horrible situations happen to you. That intuition is built in for you to use. It will guide you and protect you. This is one thing I just truly, truly know from my heart. And ever since I've been following my intuition, I haven't had crisis, and I haven't had dangerous situations or anything scary to have to deal with. So it's really, really a gift that we've been given, and it's so easy to access, and we begin to access it and open up to it by learning to follow our feelings. And I do this on a daily basis. I mean, I might wake up and I have a to-do list, and let's say I have 5 people to call, but when I wake up, the energy just isn't there for it. I don't feel like calling those people. It doesn't feel right. So I'll cross it off the list. I won't do it for that day. That's how dedicated I am to following the joy and the energy of my being. And what happens most of the time when I do that is that those people will end up calling me. And life comes together in a better flow when you learn how to just follow the joy and the energy. So that's the first way of learning to access your intuition and your guidance, is by learning to follow your feelings of joy, your feelings of life and aliveness. That is the guidance. And the second way is learning to follow the little inner voice and the nudgings and the little promptings that are within us. And we all have them all the time. And I think we've all experienced this. I know I have. When I don't listen to those little whispers and those little nudgings, then something will happen, something more intense to get my attention. And if I still don't listen, just like Oprah said, then you get the brick over the head. An example of this would be getting an inner feeling that I'm not happy at my job. I need to leave my job. But then the ego voice comes in and all the fear and, oh, I can't do that. I need a paycheck. What would I do? Jobs are hard to get, and all those voices. And so we choose to ignore it. And then what will happen is you'll get a nudge. You'll get a new manager, and the manager's horrible, and now your job's even worse, and you still don't listen to it. And then the next thing you know, you've been fired or you've been laid off your job. The universe will take care of it for you. You will have to face it. It's just part of how it works. So I have found it to be so much more simple if I am in a state of just relaxing and trusting and following those inner promptings, listening to the whispers before it gets into a crisis proportion in your life. So just pay attention. Pay attention to those voices. And so many times, another reason that we don't pay attention to it is because what it's asking us to do is a really big, scary thing. And such as the job situation, it's a big, scary thing. But I'm telling you, if you don't, you will get the brick in the head and you'll end up having to do it anyway. So it's better to go ahead and listen, pay attention to those little promptings and those whispers and take action on that. It'll be easier to take the action and the universe will support you in the flow of it rather than waiting till it gets to crisis proportions. And the third way that we access our intuition and guidance is to understand that it does come from within us, but that we are connected to everything. There really is no inner and outer, so to speak, but in the terms of language, we have to talk about it that way in order to understand it. But intuition comes from within ourselves as those promptings, those whispers, those feelings, what feels good and what doesn't, but it also comes to us from the outside world. So be open to guidance coming from anywhere and everything. It can come from a person and something they say. It can come from a situation that's a symbolic of something for you. It could come through a movie. It can come through a book. It can come through an animal. It can come from anywhere. And so open up to looking at guidance as life informing you through the events that happen in your life, what comes across your path. Again, it's simple, it's easy. Life takes care of that for you. If you learn to just pay attention, open up, and be willing to receive the guidance from anywhere. And many times, I will ask the universe, if I have a big decision to make, I'll ask the universe, give me a sign. And if you wait a while, you will get a sign. You'll know if it's on your right path, that sign will show up. If it's not, it won't, and you will know. So it's just a very natural process, but we do have to live present to our days, and we have to watch out for the signs, and we have to pay attention to the guidance that is coming across our path and to us, whether it's coming from within our own being or it's coming to us from the outer worlds. And the fourth way that we can access more inner guidance is by asking for it. I think so many times we forget that we are in a universe where we are so loved and we are so supported and we have help both seen in the physical world and in the unseen realms. I believe that we have angels and we have guides, but it's really important that we ask for help. By asking, number one, we're setting into motion an intention into the universe that will be fulfilled. And number two, we're opening ourselves. We're opening ourselves up to receive the guidance. And you will receive it. Now, it doesn't always come at the instant that you ask. You may have to be patient. And again, you may have to watch and pay attention for what it is telling you. If it's a big decision or something that you just can't solve right away. But it always comes to you. But one of the best ways to access it is to ask for it. And the fifth way to attune to our guidance and intuition is when we receive it, we have to be willing to act on it. Because if we don't, we start closing down the portal and the channel through which it comes. If you're not going to allow it to serve you, the channel will shrink. So if you want to experience the full flow of wisdom and intelligence that is within you and that can come through you, you have to be willing to do what it says. And I know so many times it can be so scary, as we discussed earlier. It could be you've been in a relationship for years and you know you need to leave it. and it's a huge, scary step to do so. It's going to change everything in your life, and you're afraid and you don't want to do it. But every time we don't act on what we know this guidance and this intuition is telling us to do, we're complicating our lives. We're making it harder than it is, and we're also closing down that portal and that channel for coming through and expressing through us and making our lives more easy and joyful. So it's really, really important that you be willing to act on the guidance that you receive and continue to open that portal. Every time you act on it, it also opens it wider. And lastly, when it comes to guidance, we must know that we will know what we need to know when we need to know it. Generally, with guidance, you do not get a full picture of the entire scene of what you're going through. Generally, most of us, it can happen. There are people that will get a vision and they'll be shown everything, but I think that's more rare than not. Most of the time, you're only going to be shown just a little bit of something. So in order to live in a state of following our guidance and intuition, we have to be willing to take some risks and live in the unknown. It does require a lot of trust and a lot of faith, because you'll mostly be shown just a few steps out, and you have to act and take those steps, and then the next thing will be shown to you. But I can tell you 100% that it also makes your life easier. It might be a little more scary. If you're not used to living in the unknown, it can be a little scary and challenging, but eventually you'll get used to that. But what happens when we start to follow those steps is life starts to live you. It's like stepping into a river of a magical flow, and things just start to unfold with simplicity and ease and joy. You're following those joyful feelings, and you're just kind of stepping onto the path and allowing it to carry you. Don't wait to get the whole picture, because if you wait, you most likely won't get it. You won't do anything. And again, then that's not acting on your guidance, and you're closing down that portal. And I believe that life is just meant. We are perfectly designed creatures for living this life and being successful and thriving and being happy. And one of our innate inner gifts is that we have been given the gift of our guidance and our intuition to help us through life. And when we do live from a place of following the joy, following your energy, and if you practice these 6 things that I've offered to you today, you will just find a huge, huge difference in how you feel every day. You will see life unfolding. It's like you'll step into a magical river that just takes you and flows, and life will unfold for you. And it's so fun, and it's so exciting, and you'll experience tons of surprises too. The most wonderful, miraculous things will happen to you that you never even dreamed of, all because you were willing to follow your heart and listen to your joy and follow the energy and trust it. So I hope you have a really, really good week. Practice working with your guidance and your intuition, and learn to start living from that place every day of your life. And I promise you, you will be amazed at the shifts and the changes and how easy and fun life becomes. So thanks, and we'll see you next time.